as you said correctly, it started off with one individual, one person who had this passion for music and dance. And now it has expanded to actually connecting people,
Right.
having multiple people being involved in it and being part of the music.
All right, so can you share with us a little bit more about your journey as an entrepreneur and the vision that was behind Tactus? What inspired you to create this technology, to create this product?
Yeah, thank you so much, Victor. Really grateful to be on the show. So yeah, my name is Jeremy. I founded Tactus actually right out of university. So I studied mechanical engineering at Northeastern University here in Boston, actually. And the journey started when I met Professor Lori Akin at Northeastern University during my last year there.
Okay.
She is a deaf professor teaching ASL at the time at Northeastern, but also a dancer and a choreographer. And I thought, wow, that's so impressive. That's so interesting.
Amazing.
Yeah, I wanted to learn more about her story, and she was very open to sharing. She told me that she would learn music through vibrations.
Okay.
So she would put her hands on speakers to feel the vibrations of music, and she would learn and memorize the song in that way. So when she's out dancing, the song just playing in her head in perfect rhythm. So I thought, wow, that's so impressive. But I thought maybe there's a better way. So I actually, she was super open to sharing her story and super open to working together. So we actually worked together for the next 6 months, where I said, hey, what if I developed something for you so you can feel the music live on your body while you would dance? So that's what we did.
So you started like a personal project for the professor.
Exactly.
All right.
So we made the first prototype for her, and at the end of it, it was very successful. She really loved it, asked to keep it. We said, yes, of course, we made it for you. And it was really her words that encouraged me and motivated me to continue working on it.
And how was the first prototype at that time? Because it's a perfect development. You have a user that is giving you the user experience when you are doing it, and then you say, okay, I have something that is working. How do you go from that into, I'm going to start a startup and I'm going to develop this commercially?
Yeah, so to be completely honest, I was quite, let's say, naive when that happened. I thought, yeah, I have a prototype already. We can start making these, and we can start, growing this and spreading this into the deaf community, because we of course see there are other people like Professor Lori Akin that have this similar experience with music within the deaf community, and. Wow, was I wrong, right? So what we did, though, is that we made a second device that looked exactly the same. At the time, it was more of like a harness type of device. There are belts and buckles, more of like a safety harness. And when we showcased that to other people within the community, they all really liked the vibration experience. They said, this is great, but I'll never wear this outside.
It doesn't look good.
It looks super awkward. People are going to stare at me. That's not what I want. So it was a big learning experience there, but a really wonderful one, getting this feedback from the end users, right? So Lori introduced us to 3 of her friends who she thought would be a good fit, who have this similar experience within the deaf community with music. They introduced to 3 of their friends. So it just started growing like that. And that's how we got that initial user feedback. And we quickly learned this harness device is not going to work
well.
Yeah. And so we need to make this look nice so that the user actually feels good wearing it as well.
And the device is the one you are wearing right now, is the jacket you are wearing. So how do you get from the harness to the device that you are wearing right now?
Yeah. So I am
Which
wearing
is very
it
cool
now.
and fancy, by the way. Yes.
Thank you. So, through a lot of iterations on the design, getting the user's feedback on it. So we quickly knew, okay, we want to somehow make it look discreet. It should be something that someone can go outside and wear and not feel awkward, not have other people stare or draw unnecessary attention towards themselves.
Right.
So we want to try and integrate it into daily clothing, something that's discreet. And that went through many iterations because we had to try to minimize the tech behind it to be as small as possible so that it can integrate well with soft fabrics. One of the biggest challenges we had was how do we integrate some of these hard, rigid components into a soft good?
Right.
Yeah, and so after years of development with the community, going through multiple iterations on the design, we landed on two designs. We have a simple black vest, which I've also brought, but the one I'm wearing is a long sleeve jacket. So it's a 2-layer design. It's got the tech all integrated on the inside, so it's nice and form-fitting to the torso, and it's got a outside kind of athletic trainer's jacket type of look. Yeah, just to really give off a casual look.
So what is the technology integrated? How does it work? I mean, just to for the audience to understand, because I wore it before and you feel it, and it's very cool as the music plays, you feel it. But where did you integrate it? I mean, right now I'm seeing you with the jacket, and just to understand, because it was here in the shoulder, right?
Yes.
So how does it work, and why did you choose the shoulder? That would be the question.
Yeah. So the decision of choosing the shoulder and kind of like the upper chest area, that was started from development with Professor Laurie Atkin. So we brought in different types of transducers and looked into academic research on parts of the body that are most sensitive to vibration. But actually, I think it was one session with her where she actually took the transducer that we had and put it on her chest, and she's like, "This feels good." We're like, "Okay, there's something here, right?" And so I think that went along with how people are familiar with vibrations. It's a similar experience you have maybe when you're at a loud concert where you're really like feeling the loud music and really resonating in your chest. So we wanted to mimic that experience and bring it so that it's a portable experience that a user can have even outside of a loud concert.
Right.
So yeah, indeed, all the tech is integrated, and we've got transducers in the upper chest area, just below the collarbone, and the back area, upper back area as well. Everything's powered by a portable battery that sits in it. That's the only thing that you have to take out. Everything else is permanently integrated and washable, waterproof and washable.
Oh, actually. That too. Okay.
Yeah. And so it's got a controller that's integrated in it that handles the wireless connectivity, so you can connect it via Bluetooth to your phone, play music, and it will do all the processing on the garment. Okay,
super interesting. And you were at the Tokyo Deaflympics. For those of the audience that don't know, Tokyo Deaflympics is like the Deaflympics are like the Olympics, and the Tokyo one was the 100th anniversary. You were an official partner there, and they were wearing your jacket, and it was being used. So can you explain a little bit more when it was used? But more importantly, you are seeing a case study in real life of a lot of people in a different country completely from when you developed your device. And how was it to see it, and what did you learn through that process?
Yeah, the Tokyo Deaflympics was just such an incredible experience. So as you said correctly, it's similar to the Olympics. It happens every 4 years. They have the summer and the winter as well, happening in different parts of the world. This past year in the centennial event in Tokyo. So, a lot of attention around a big event. And yeah, that was just such a great experience for us to be able to be part of that. We had users kind of using it throughout. We actually got an opportunity to exhibit throughout the Deaflympics. So in Tokyo, they allocated a part of the Deaflympics village, so where a lot of the athletes are staying, into a accessibility tech exhibition hall.
Okay, I see.
So that was happening all throughout the event. So athletes and attendees even that are coming to see the games could visit and just experience the different technologies that are available there. So we were exhibiting there, showcasing the device, but we were also part of a official concerts and performance that they were hosting in the performance hall. So this was a, performance really with sign language integrated, deaf performers as well as attendees. And so we had some attendees wearing our device to experience the music that's happening live on stage.
And what was your reaction after seeing, because that moment you see a lot of people leveraging it, using it, and experiencing the concert at the same time, right?
Yes.
And that's very different from what you initially described of your professor and one experience only. So what was what did you learn from that about seeing that together, and is it inspiring you to do something else? What was the experience in that sense?
Yeah, what I love so much about it is, as you said correctly, it started off with one individual, one person who had this passion for music and dance, and now it has expanded to actually connecting people, having multiple people being involved in it and being part of the music. At the performance, we actually had an old couple, a deaf couple, that requested to use our device because their grandchild was one of the performers on stage. So that's just so special, to have that connection. It was very important for them to be part of that experience and to be immersed in it and to feel the music that their grandson is playing on stage. And so these type of connections just exactly align so well with our mission of really creating shared music experiences. And we saw how, people from around the world were experiencing it, dancing at our booth to the music that we were playing. We were playing different types of music from around the world, allowing the user to give song requests. So we're experiencing different types of music, and just, it really goes to show how music is such a universal language that can make these connections and break down these barriers. And that was exactly what we wanted to do, and aligns so well with our mission. And indeed, it inspired us to continue to do more of these concerts and events, actually. So shortly after that, we did another one in Tokyo, and we're looking forward to doing, bringing that actually to the US here and doing some concerts, here in Boston and in the US as well.
Oh, wonderful. And I want to ask you, because at the end, this is a hardware. You have a software, you have a device, it's electronic, but then you have to put it in a jacket, and it's hardware. And you have the integration, and it needs to feel good, as you say, it needs to look good. You have an element of fashion to that is going there. And now, with this recent experience of communal kind of dancing, you also have a kind of a network, if you want, a connection there that is happening through the music. But there is another element that you can build on. So how do you go from you are testing the product, you know it's working, you have the user experience, you are starting to sell it, but now you have to scale, and you have different markets. No? You have in Japan one, you have the US one. How do you go to a scale, being a hardware company? How do you go into, okay, I have to do these devices, but I need to grow them on a scale, and I also at the same time need to advance the technology and making it feel better and adapt to different uses, right? So what is your strategy there? What are your struggles? What are the things that are more difficult to couple with?
Yeah, that's a great question. Certainly, lots of challenges, I would say, from even to get to where we are right now, because as I said, it took so many different iterations, right? So I think within, launching a new product and serve or product or service, you want to test often. You want to get out to the market early. You want to test with your end users, and in software, that scale is a bit easier to achieve, to get users on board, and then, okay, hey, there's some
and you can change the code very fast.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter, but for you need to change the whole process.
Exactly, right? And by changing the design, that's a months long process, even if we're sharp on it, right? So I think early on, making very simple prototypes was how we were able to get past that, and working with the right partners to do that. I don't have any experience in fashion design, for example, or even sewing, right? So on the hardware side, I can make prototypes relatively easy. But
the harness one, you mean?
Yes, the harness one. But sewing is something else.
The fashion part is different.
Exactly. So, working with the right partners to be able to help us with making these, quick prototypes just for us to test, making, staying close to our user base to be able to say, hey, this is a new iteration now, test it, give us your thoughts. And as we scale now, as we're entering the market, to be just mindful of the batches that we're making, knowing that, hey, there are still some things that we want to improve. So, when do we plan that in for the next batch based on the feedback that we've gotten here already, and not, start making too much existing stock, but to kind of grow in a way a bit more slowly in that way, but also still having that engagement with the users throughout, so that they're along with you with the journey of that product iteration and evolution.
And how do you get them being engaged with you? Because now you are starting to, it was easy when you have a small kind of crowd, right? And now you're starting to scale. How do you continue that engagement?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, we're trying to do a lot more on social media to keep engaging with them, obviously giving them updates on what we're doing. I think a lot of them are really excited about us being at the Deaflympics, of course. So within this community, it's such a big event. And so, just keeping them updated to feel like they're, on the journey with us.
So you're basically building a community and getting them engaged.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you see this technology evolving if things go the way you have your vision and you're starting to see the technology and all the elements that go into the new materials also are starting to happen, maybe making the sensors and the hardware easier to go. You also have advances in software that are happening. How do you see this evolving 5 years from now? How your device could be different if things go the way you think have the potential to go?
Yeah, I think it's hard to say on the exact, physical look and design what that will look like, because again, so far it's been so user driven. But in terms of vision and how we want to continue to grow, of course, we want to keep engaging with the deaf community. That's how we started. That's our mission of really creating these shared music experiences, breaking down barriers, bringing people in, having this accessibility aspect. But as we continue to grow, now we're getting into concerts and venues. We see an opportunity to not just purely focus within the deaf community, but just to invite other people to be part of this as well, to have this immersive music experience.
Right.
And so I think there is an opportunity to help create these experiences for venues, for other businesses to better engage with their customer base as well, to have this entertainment aspect and just create this immersive experience.
And how do you see the evolution with augmented reality world, the simulation world, right? Because then you have the kind of thin devices like the Oculus that gets you into a new world. This will get you even more immersed, right?
Exactly.
Is that part of this idea and the vision that you have this technology is evolving towards too?
Yes, for sure. That is such a big opportunity for us, being able to provide this device that can get them more immersed and to provide this tactile experience, to add a new dimension to that, augmented reality or virtual reality experience, which is, it's been growing so much, especially with the availability of hardware and different companies and software that are being integrated into that ecosystem. So being a provider to that, to help provide that experience is something that we're very interested in.
Wonderful. I mean, it seems like you have a lot of space to grow, to explore. So, Jeremy, I wanted to finish this interview with a word of advice. We always ask that final question to all our guests, and it's more to get the advice you would have loved to have when you started. So if you think about someone that is starting your journey, that is thinking, hey, I want to create something, I'm in university, I'm finishing, I see the potential of this technology, but it has hardware involved on it. It's not only software in this new tech, but it really will have a big impact in the world if I do it. It really can change the people's life in a better way. What would be your advice, the one that you have loved to have had when you started, if you choose one thing?
Yeah, that's a great one. I think I did have this, as I started, but I think, you could always have more of that. You can always be reminded more, and that is to just stay close with your users, be as close to them as possible. Us working with the deaf community, this tight-knit community, I think I'm grateful that we have been working with them and that they've been so open to us as well. And they're the ones that were really guiding our journey and leading us to what we have right now in terms of like a physical product. And it's that experience that we had with them that showed us as well what the potential could be in terms of creating these shared music experiences. So, if there's one piece of advice, out of everything else, I think that will really help a entrepreneur early on in their journey.
Right. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you having been here in the show, and best of luck in your journey.
Thank you so much, Victor. Super appreciate you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you.